Find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here, but I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
So, 4 rounds down, 2 to go. Welcome along, everybody, to the JP Broadcasting Network, as well as the Sim Racing Collective YouTube channel for the penultimate round of the Sim Racing Collective F4 Sprint season. We're here at the virtual recreation of the Virginia International Raceway, aka VIR. We're going to be running the full course, which is just over 5.2 kilometres, measuring just a shade under 3.3 miles, 166 metres above sea level. And you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, at the moment. Very shortly, I'll be bringing Dean Biggles into the box, who's been joining me for the majority of this season. But let's have a look at the championship standings coming into this penultimate round, with 2 races on the cards for tonight. Luciano Vitvoet, dominant over the last 4 races, over the last 2 rounds, has now got a slender 7-point lead ahead of Josh Millington in the 86. Kieran Sharp, originally the points leader after the season opener back 4 weeks ago at Alton Park, is a further 3 points behind in P3. Jamie Nuttall in the number 14 cracked racing car has been there or thereabouts. He's been at the sharp end of the field. He's had multiple podiums, maybe a race or 2 to forget, especially race 1 last time out. But he rounds out the top 4 ahead of Jack Southfield. Not here tonight. Well, he's going to be in the state of Qatar for the next couple of weeks because he works for ProDrive, and what's going on over the next couple of weeks, the World Endurance Championship Prologue and the season opener at the LaSalle International Circuit. So Jack will end up on 303 points come the end of the season. Gives the opportunity of the likes of Bobby Moss, Andrew Pike, Brad Horsnell, Matt Acton, David Long, who ran at the top 10, an opportunity to move up the order. Tom Davidson, Thomas Martin, Johnny Wu, Fabian Beaver, David Barnes, aka DQ Dave, have been pretty much part and parcel of the usual suspects over the course of the championship season. We've got Gareth Ronda, Guillaume Hamling, Stefan Hutter in 19th position. Then rounding out the top 20, it's Daniel Simmons from Crack Racing in the 156. Then we've got the likes of Freddie Coleman, Cody Cosford, who always seems to be in wrong place, wrong time, bless him. Martin Blankensteiner, Gergely Kunsabo, Hayden Miller rounds out the top 25 in the standings with the likes of Liam Giles, Roy Weller, Thomas Helmer, Pedro Silva, Marcus Miller, Tobias Heiterer, Clement Bibliok, Pavel Bogdan, Baz Schilstra, et al. But that is the standings. Let's bring in my partner in crime, Biggles. Good evening, mate. Good to have you alongside me. What a great circuit we're going to be racing at tonight here at VIR.
Welcome, of course. Yeah, good evening to you, my dear friend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me just get that little graphic off the screen there. That happens because we switched out of our practice session and we're into our qualifying session here this evening. As you said, some of the names aren't in there, but we do have somebody in the chat going, good luck to the Flying Scotsman, Hayden Miller. So,
yes,
he's driving, yes, well, I was going to say he's driving under the United Kingdom flag, but you can drive under a Scotland flag, can't you?
It's always dependent on the iRacing service, isn't it? But just 14 years of age, did a great job last time out when we were at, I think it was Summit Point, and there is Cody Cosford, another one of the Scottish contingent. Of course, it is a solo qualifying for 10 minutes. Then we have a 15-minute sprint race, 5-minute warm-up. The grid for race 2, which will be 25 minutes, will be decided by the results of race 1. But I think the biggest thing is Luciano Vitvoet, who is back on the grid, folks, so watch this space. But we've seen him and Millington battling over the last 2 rounds like 2 petulant children over, I nearly said pilgrims there, petulant children over the last swing of the playground. It's been absolutely epic to watch, especially with the last 2 rounds, Dean, because we come to another track that's got a lot of, it's very, very fast. So momentum's going to be crucial. A lot of blind crests, a lot of dips, a lot of adverse cambers, especially as they go through we ride on board with Hayden Miller. We'll actually take you on a flying lap during this qualifying session very shortly, but then you've got the log old backstretch from turn 12 out of Oak Tree right the way down to Roller Coaster, which starts at turn 13. So it is about momentum carry and having some serious cojones at the same time.
Some serious words coming out of your mouth as well too, my dear friend, which is good. Roller coaster ride. This is getting some warm up into temperature into the tyres. It kind of reminds me a little bit like a Brands Hatch on steroids, isn't it? You look at those elevation changes. This is fantastic. I haven't actually been here in a while, actually broadcasting any races, so I'm glad to be back here. Look at you got to throw this machine around. You have to utilize it as much as possible. And the biggest problem right now, it's compromised his exit now to start another lap. So will he just stay out there for a... Yeah, it's too much speed loss, isn't it? Anybody else you want to follow? Sorry, Hayden Miller, but we gave you a little bit of moment to shine.
Right, well, let's jump on board with our current points leader, Luciano Vitvoe, who's actually about to come around and complete the lap.
Don't you mess it up, my friend. You haven't. Yeah, the spotlight's on you now.
No. No, but he's just coming through Hogpen out of turns 16B and 17. So we are yet to see times on the board, but I think Vitvoe could post at the first time, which could be the fastest time. We've got just under 4 minutes completed in this 10-minute qualifying session. So Fabian Bierwert goes in with a 1:48.461. Kieran Sharp 1:48.6 as Vitvoe. His time gets disallowed, but we've now gone through into the horseshoe here at turn 1, and then you're sort of going through basically a bit like the triple left at Istanbul Park here at turns 2, 3, and 4A, which is turn 3 NASCAR bend, turn 4A left hook, and then again you're sort of just trying to carry the momentum through. In these F4 cars, it is about momentum carry. And through a lot of these sections now, through the snake section that he's going through at turn 6A and 6B, before the run down to T7, you are using the momentum of the car. You are going to be very, very minimal on brakes. Look at the speed that he's carrying through here. Nearly 140 miles an hour as he makes his way through into South Bend at turn 10. Down the dip, now over the crest into turn 11 at the first part of Oak Tree. A little bit of a lock-up on the right front by the Flying Dutchman, the number 60 from World of Racing. Now he's going down this very long back stretch. We are seeing speeds by some drivers heading just north of 230 kilometers an hour, which is about 150 miles per hour. So what is Vitvoe going to get as he comes over the crest and heads into the elevation change here at turn 13? That's going to be 228, I just noticed on the Speedo. So just north of 145 miles an hour, down into turn 14 and 15. And then you've got 16A that he's just gone through, into 16B, bump on the curbs, let the car roll out of the corners and open up the steering. And then Vitvoe is going to pull the car pretty much central to the circuit. So does he cross the line and does he improve and go to the top of the timesheets?
Yes.
He does.
Oh.
1:48.391. Davidson up to second, Bierwert third, Sharp fourth, Nuttall fifth, Bobby Moss. Let's see what livery he's running this week, because he's switched either between Ferrari like he did last time. Guillaume Hamling's gone with the tried and tested one, the 351 from Luxembourg. There's Matt Acton with the old zebra stripes. Currently running P8 as Thomas Martin in the Ayrton Senna Camel Lotus Honda tribute band goes off circuit. There's Kieran Sharp running the TSRC Esports livery, as do quite a few of the other drivers, as we're coming down to the final 3.5 minutes of this session.
Yeah, we did say, didn't we? We were talking actually about that last time, I think, with the boss man, Kieran, about organising it. So, I don't know, maybe in the new season, so that all the drivers have to use some sort of F1 livery, right?
Yeah, well, look at the one that Bobby Moss is sporting.
Yes, I know.
It's like it's all he needs now is a red number 5 on.
Yeah, I was going to say,
red 5
Nigel Mansell, number 5 is alive. It's got number.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's back from 91 and 92. Cody Cosford currently running P13 at the moment. Top 14 rounded out by Bradley Horsnell in the number 58, covered by just under 2 seconds, but next to nothing. Fabian Bierwert has done an absolute blinder this time around here, Dean, because he's 69 thousandths behind, running the old MP44 tribute livery.
Prost, Senna, who is it?
Well, if it's I'm not too sure. Well, his number is 83. So I would think that is probably going to be Senna more than likely. As Vitvolt goes quicker still.
Stefan Johansson, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
Yes, Stefan Johansson. Yeah, good call there. Good call there.
Karen Sharp, top of the timesheets. There it is, right now. He's just replaced it. Yes. Boss man, who is the only one here that doesn't have the actual livery because he's got his actual league livery, the Sim Racing Collective livery on the car, so can't blame him.
No, you can't blame him.
He could do it. He could do that in a Lotus, the black Lotus livery.
Oh, the old JPS, the JPS Specials.
JPS Special. There you go, Kieran Sharp. That would look very nice. And then just put your TSR on the side there. Yeah,
do a Mario Andretti from back in the day.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let's see whether or not this man's going to want that to be happy, or if he's going to dethrone the boss man with, what have we got left? 97 seconds or so.
Yeah, well, I think, Vitvoet might find the server timing out. Now, let's have a look at his... so he's just done a personal best in Sector 1. Sector 3, he's done a personal best. Because there's 6 sectors according to our live timing that we've got. So he'll hit the next sector now. And he's slightly... Oh, he's slower. So he was over a tenth slower in Sector 2 in comparison with Kieran Sharp. Slower by nearly a tenth and a half because Kieran is lighting up the timesheets purple again. He's just improved in Sector 5 as Vitvoet will now abort the lap.
Yeah.
Now Kieran Sharp has an opportunity. Now Sector 5 he was about 4/100ths of a second slower, but he's got time in the bag to come across the line and possibly take pole position for this race. And that's 16.92. There we go. 48.188 for Kieran Sharp. The fight back for the title starts now.
He needs it too, doesn't he? Because remember, he was leading the championship, a few weeks ago as we're seeing Tom with all sorts of stuff. It's like it's heading to the beach with Tom Davison. But you see, Kieran needs a good result here to put himself back on the top of the timesheets, on top of the championship. Then Jamie puts us the other Brit up there in P14 in his livery. So, any other drivers left to go there? I think that's it. That's it. Absolutely, session's over, and there it is. Boss man gets pole.
Kieran Sharp takes pole position for race 1 of round 5 of the TSRC F4 Sprint season here at VIR by a comfortable margin. So here is the starting grid. Kieran Sharp will start on pole position. It's an all-British front row, courtesy of Crack Racing's Jamie Nuttall, with Luciano Vitvoet and Tom Davidson rounding out the top 2 rows. Good effort this time by Fabian Biervert. Was in the top 3, ended up 5th ahead of Bobby Moss, with Gergely Consabo and Andrew Pike rounding out the top 4 rows. Matt Acton and Fred Coleman-Evans complete the top 10, with Hayden Miller and Josh Millington on row... That's a shocker for Millington. He's all the way down on the outside of row 6. Guillaume Hamling, Bradley Horsnell, Cody Cosford, Johnny Wu, David Barnes, Matt Smith, Thomas Helmer, and Thomas Martin round out the 20-strong driver grid around this circuit. The IRL lap record currently was set back at the VIR round of the 2018 US Formula 4 Championship by Denmark's Christian Rasmussen, now a fully fledged IndyCar driver.
Oh, yes.
153.076.
I'm excited for the new season. Yeah.
So we have got we've possibly got a lot of talking points to go through. We're just waiting for Jamie Nuttall to line up on the grid. And there he is. Here we are at VIR for round 5, race 1 of the TSRC F4 Sprint season. As the red lights start to ignite on the gantry, the 5 lights are on, 5 lights are out. We are underway in racing. Bit of a wheel spin there from Tom Davidson on the outskirts of row 2. As Millington will start to try and scythe his way through the field. He's going to nearly make it 4 abreast going into the horseshoe here at turn 1. One goes very, very wide, and that was Matt Smith in the 44. So he's had an exit stage left. Vitvoet's got through on Nuttall to take P2, but Kieran Sharp has an initial lead of just over 4.5 tenths of a second. So they're going to be coming through the Snake Complex at 6A and 6B very, very shortly, and then they're going to be putting the pedal to the proverbial metal, quite literally, on their sim rigs. Oh, Gunsabo went off the circuit sideways.
Oh!
And that's caused a bit of problems behind. I think he just got caught out by Guillaume Hamling, and that looks to be David Barnes that's out of the race. There's less than 4 wheels on that wagon, and they're both in pit lane.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not going to buff out. And that all started with Matt Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, let's have a look at the replay. Well, Dave actually locked up. Matt Smith went off, and I think it's probably a little bit further. Let's just see what's happened.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
A little bit further along, because Dave Barnes was a little bit further up the road from Matt Smith. So there's Gugli Kunsabo, has a little bit of a wobble, goes off the circuit.
Yep.
Oh, they were also
bang,
lucky. Dave Barnes, bang, straight in, T-bones him, and they are both in the pits. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Down to 18 already, and we've got Bobby Moss.
Look at this.
This is like
reminiscence of the old days, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's like I'm just waiting for the millimetre to millimetre gap between Mansell and Senna back in 1991 all over again. But Fabian Bierwirth down 1 place into 6th as Kieran Sharp has a lead over Jamie Nuttall, who's retaken 2nd place, but he's got Luciano Vitvoet looking up the inside of him. Flying Dutchman looking to continue his 4-win streak to maybe 5, but he's got a lot. He's got to really, really think about where he plants the car. And if he's not very careful, Tom Davidson. Oh, there's a lock up from Vitvoet. That's a mistake. And Davidson was quick to go up the inside, but that puts him on the outside line. He then misses out, courtesy of Bobby Moss. Will Fabian Bierwirth get through? That's not going to be easy, and Bierwirth has to slot in behind.
Great racing. Not the best places, I'd say, to do some overtaking to the S's there, but it's a roller coaster track, it's a roller coaster ride, and these drivers are eager to get some early places here at the moment. Kieran Sharp still has a pretty commanding lead at the moment, you'd have to say. Well, not really commanding, but those two are up the road there, and then the gap to this big battle that you're seeing currently at the moment.
Yeah, Luciano Vitvoet is now got the best part of nearly 1.2 seconds behind Jamie Nuttall, who has yet to secure a win in this series, but has been at the sharp end for quite a lot of it. As I said, is a fair share of dramas. And now Kieran Sharp, this gives him the opportunity to retake the championship lead, possibly by the end of the night. If he gets a perfect score of 132 points, the drop scores will be recalculated. SimSport Hub says, I'm too sexy for this race, since I don't have pace. That was a bit of a right said Fred vernacular there. Sexy SimSport.
I wonder if Tom's going to be too sexy for the outside lane on Bobby.
Well, he will be with all those pogs on the side pods of his car, and he's looking for the move around the outside at the horseshoe. That's very, very brave. This is going to bring Bierwirth into the mix. Moss still keeps head of the 42, but he's looking up the inside again. This is going to be into the next left-hander here at left hook. And Moss holds on. And then you look at who's behind. Millington up 4 places to 8th and is closing rapidly. Andrew Pike in the 57, who's just ahead of Millington, has just set the fastest lap of the race. 1:48.452. As Davidson looking for the move on Bobby Moss. They go wheel to wheel ever so briefly. Moss still keeps the throttle planted. Absolute stones. Oh, touch there between Bierwirth and Davidson. They get away with it. And that's allowed Pike to close on very, very quickly. He's going to look up the inside into the next right-hander. Is there going to be the opportunity? But Millington's going to go around the outside of him. That's incredible. Round turn 12 by Josh Millington on Andrew Pike for 7th. Hold the phone, Josh Millington. The cavalry has arrived.
And hold the phone, because there's a battle for the lead currently at the moment as well, too. So battles absolutely everywhere. I'm wondering at the moment if I should jump literally on board our man that's currently running in P3 and get a bird's eye view. Not that bird's eye view. We need to see his concentration on his helmet. He's got to see the rear bumper right now. And Kieran Sharp, who did get taken by Jamie, is now taking the race lead.
Right, again, this is shades of Millington and Vitvoet over the last 2 race evenings. One at Summit Point, one at Okayama, the last 2 rounds. And Sharp is looking to the outside. This is the run down to the horseshoe. This is going to open the door for Vit Voet. He's going to look at threading the eye of the needle as Vit Voet puts in the new fastest lap of the race, 1:47.896. Nuttall in the lead, Sharp in second, Vit Voet in third. And if they keep battling away, Bobby Moss is going to be quicker in this battle than you can say the word jump.
Jump. There you go. So yeah, he will catch the pack pretty quickly because he's also got a gaggle of cars behind him, which is going to be fantastic. We do want them all bunch up. That's what we do like.
Oh, right. Fred Coleman Evans has gone off, and Cody Cosford. Cody Cosford's been involved with something again. Oh, dearie me. It's not going well for the 54. We'll get back to him in just a moment. But Kieran Sharp looking for the opportunities. Got the inside line. Now it's the outside line. A little bit of extra curbing taken by the 23. This is just so too close to call again. The skills that these drivers have developed over the past 4 rounds really have come to the fore as Luciano Vit Voet going through into Oak Tree, now onto the back stretch here on lap 4. Vit Voet looks up the inside through turn 11 and 12 on Sharp. Sharp closed the door very quickly, but Nuttall's managed to scarper away ever so slightly. But look, Bobby Moss, Tom Davidson and Fabian Beerver now making a 6-horse race at the front end of the field. This can allow Josh Millington very quickly the opportunity to close on in and be a part of it.
Yeah, you called it right there, my friend. I guess that's with the 50,000 years of racing commentary experience that you have. You can foresee.
How much?
You can. You're a fortune teller, really, because you do this enough, right? You kind of foresee what's happening. I mean, that's just putting icing on the cake, isn't it? We're knowing this one, and we're about to see this battle brewing for the lead. And Kieran wants it back. Kieran wants it back, but Jamie wants to hold on tight here.
Yeah, new fastest lap by Fabian Beerver, 1:47.792. Johnny Woo's just had a moment. Hayden Miller's just got past Guillaume Hamling for 10th place. And look at Cody Cosford's out. He's in the pit lane. So I think Cody might have just dropped the car on the circuit. Beerver getting a bit too close to the rear wing of Davidson for 5th, but folks, top 6 covered by less than 1.4 seconds. Alex Richards in chat saying great racing. This is what we've been watching every Friday night for the past 2 to 3 weeks, and we're seeing it all over again as Jamie Nuttall, with just under 7 minutes of this race remaining, still holds on. We're halfway through lap number 5 as we go down into turns 11 and 12 at Oak Tree. Bobby Moss looking towards the outside of Luciano Vit Voet through turn 11. That's not going to be easy to get round there at the best of times, but he's trying to carry the momentum through the double right-hander and then use the slipstream. They're all starting to go from left to right, right to left. Kieran Sharp now tries to duck out of the toe down the back stretch in towards the run to turn 13 here at the roller coaster. And Millington is going to make it 7 out of 7 within 2 seconds of each other. Folks, all I'm going to say is pick a card and find where you're going to bet. Is it going to be red? Is it going to be black? Is it going to be a designated number? We just don't know as they make their way through Hogpen at turn 17. And look at how close Sharp is to the rear wing of Nuttall.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting. This is absolutely, as you called it out there, Alex, it is fantastic racing for the 3. I wouldn't be surprised at the moment. Here it is.
Oh!
If the Dutchman sneaks on by, and if he can make it stop, he can't make it stop. He's gone too greedy.
Oh, no, Kieran Sharp! Kieran Sharp gets tagged by Bobby Moss, and it's the side of Luciano Vit Voet. Goes the number 23, who's got no rear wing to speak of. Well, let's have a look at that again. So up the inside goes Bobby Moss. There's the contact. Kieran Sharp, and he touches the right-hand side of Luciano Vit Voet, who's dropped to 8th position, but Jamie Nuttall is in 1st. 2nd, it's Fabian Beerver. Bobby Moss in 3rd. Millington now on the back bumper of the number 5 on the run down through in towards South Bend. Yeah, he's bump dropping. Yeah. So that is a real shame for Kieran Sharp. And I'm sure that he'll be coaxing that vehicle round towards the pit lane. That's not exactly what you want. It was a bit too close to call, but Bobby Moss's send, that was, I think, a bit too much of the act of desperation. And DQ Davis said, well, that's me done in the chat. Okay, Dave Barnes. That's a real shame, Dave. He's So we're gonna have a look again.
Oh, that's
that's Hayden Miller going off.
Yeah.
So he's currently running
It was
P.
Luciano that went off as well too, right? Like, so that's kind of where it went a little bit pearl-shaped for everybody because it was down the middle here.
Well, Luciano just locked up, didn't he? Locked up, went wide, and then there's the contact. 2 wheels in the air like Knight Rider was Kieran Sharp, smoke billowing from the tyres, and then bang, hits the right front of Vit Voet. So he makes a mistake, and then there's insult to injury there. Andrew Pike now closing in as Vit Voet has come in. Of course, that's going to now mean that his race streak ends. So this really has opened things up. There's been a bit of a lock-up. Not too sure if it was Bobby Moss or Josh Millington as they're battling for the final step on the rostrum, but Fabian Beervert trying to close in on Jamie Nuttall. So could this be we are going to see more than likely another race winner unless Josh Millington has something to say about it. There's still 3.5 minutes to go, so anything can happen. Bradley Horsnell going side by side with Hayden Miller, and that's going through into NASCAR Bend. Horsnell round the outside gets the job done. And Fabian Beervert is channeling his inner Ayrton Senna or Alain Prost, whichever he prefers, as they make their run down into South Bend. The gap between him is 1/10.5. I think Fabian Beervert could be on for a possible win, as will be Jamie Nuttall. Bobby Moss, yeah, that was a bit too much of a late lunge, outbraked himself, bang, straight into the side of Kieran Sharp, and then it just caused all hell on the outside of the horseshoe at T1. But Fabian Beervert's got some real pace in that 83.
Yeah, he's a German driver. I mean, basically, got to put him in a Benetton right now, wouldn't you? As Michael Schumacher. And he's going to challenge Jamie right now, for sure. Jamie's had to really hold off this since he got past Kieran Sharp. The race lead contact!
Oh,
That's
no.
Jamie into the... these things are like aircraft, aren't they? They lift because they're so light.
It's like requesting permission to take off from the roller coaster at T13. Approved, bang, then you get the assist. So that now means that Bobby Moss is in the race lead. Josh Millington has got the opportunity to get another win to his credit and really keep himself at the sharp end. This is disastrous for Vit Voet. He's all the way down in 17th. And he's been in the pits for at least 15 seconds. Millington looking around the outside of the horseshoe. That could possibly open the door for Andrew Pike. And look at the run of momentum out of the horseshoe that Josh Millington just got. Coming through turns 2 and 3.
The exit here, look.
Yeah.
They had to lift, but...
I think if he gets it lined up in the snake complex at turn 6A and 6B, gets the run on Moss, he's going to have the slipstream. So there they go, through turn 5A and 5B. Now through the snake complex. And onto this short shoot into turn 7. Millington deciding to go towards the outside, which would have given him the inside line. Moss shuts the door because Millington let it happen. And you've got Andrew Pike there in the number 57. Fabian Beervert, despite that drama and that contact with Jamie Nuttall, who's recovered to 6th at the moment, still has a chance of being in there for the W. But we're going to have one more lap to go after this. So we're on lap 8. Out of 9 here at VIR, and Bobby Moss has been involved in an incident. Fabian Beervert involved in an incident, and they're still at the sharp end.
And somebody said, come on, Bobby. Well, Bobby is leading this one. Josh is up 10 places. There's Bobby. And there's Josh, of course. So Bobby's kind of reminding you, it's as we're talking about Murray Walker, weren't we, in the green room, as like, it's Mantle versus PK. But in this case, what would you like? It's Josh Millington. I mean, the red car. You don't know. You would be saying what he would be in, right? Who was in the Ferrari at the time, of course, around that day. It was
Burger. You
Burger.
probably would have had Burger.
It's Burger versus Mantle as they go down the main straight.
Well, I'm just trying to think. When was Millington looking around the outside of the horseshoe? He's going to try and make the move on Bobby Moss. Moss holds on as we are on the white flag lap, and Alex Richards says, "Wonderful impression." And look at that! You know,
Look at
literally.
Bobby's gone too wide.
Yeah, Millington's off the track. Millington's on the track. Moss has gone off it, and Pike is still there waiting in the wings. What has happened to Fabian Beervert? He's dropped all the way down to 7th, so he might have gotten a slowdown penalty, possibly. Yeah. So there he is. And Bobby Moss is still not letting go. They're Heading through into South Bend for the final time. A little bit of dirt kicked up by Josh Millington. As they go into turn 10 at South Bend, then it's going to be the run up the hill, or up the ascent here into Oak Tree at turns 11 and 12. And who's going to get the better run out of it? Well, at this point, Bobby Moss must be thinking, sideways from Millington. Millington got all kinds of crossed up there, and Bobby Moss now gets the slipstream.
Got to go for it, Danisha. You got the momentum here, but is there going to be enough track before the corner? That's going to be the key. Side-by-side action. Do not look away.
Oh, he's got him. He's got him. I think he might have got him going into the roller coaster. Bobby Moss just fractionally ahead into turn 13, and Mattel's back in front again. Sorry.
Nigel Mattel in the lead. Yes, exactly. I'm not even British, and I try.
I know. But it's going to be out of the final corner, out of Hogpen, and it's going to be the run to the line. Millington's got the slipstream. Look at the closing rate of speed, but it's not going to be enough because Bobby Moss becomes a race winner in TSRC F4 Sprint here at VIR after 9 laps. Millington takes second. Pike rounds out the podium. Well, would you believe that, folks? We have had great racing. We have had dramas, let's say. Matt Acton, well, hold the phone. The actual IRL motorsport photographer finishes P4 ahead of Tom Davidson. Mr. Pog Fantastic on the monocoque and on the side of the composite monocoque and the side pods rounds out the top 5. Jamie Nuttall finishes 6th ahead of Fabian Beerver. Guillaume Hamling having a good result, finished 8th, having started 13th. Hayden Miller, Bradley Horsnell rounds out the top 10. Fred Coleman-Evans takes 11th. Kieran Sharp, no rear. He's brought that home with no rear wing on it. Well, fair play for.
Who needs wings? It's not a Red Bull.
Who needs wings? All we need now is Formula Ford 1600. He finishes 12th ahead of Cody Cosford, Matt Smith, Thomas Martin. Johnny Wu rounds out the top 16. Thomas Helmer and Gergely Kunsabo finish a lap down. Luciano Vitvoe out with 2 laps to go. And David Barnes out on lap 3. Well, yeah. Championship has just gone spicy, folks, let's say. We've still got 3 races to go, including the one that's coming up next for the 25-minute feature. Oh my goodness me. There are your results, which have just gone through just a moment ago. That Moss takes the win ahead of Millington by 94 thousandths. Pike in 3rd. Acton, Davidson, Nuttall, Beerver, Hamling, Miller, Horsnell round out the top 10. Evans, Sharp, Cosford, Smith, Martin, Wu, Helmer, Kunsabo with Voet, and Barnes retiring before the end of the race. But well, if that's the appetizer, here comes the main course.
Wow. It's turned into a food cast now, hasn't it? Oh, lovely. A food race. But yeah, Bobby Mott, somebody was shouting out there before, right? Come on, Bobby. Well, Bobby did. Come on, Bobby. Oh, come on, Bobby. Da, da. I don't even know that song. You know, come on, Alan. Anyway.
Well, yeah. Dexy's Midnight Runners and Come On Eileen. There we go. Musical reference.
Oh, they use that to come on England now, don't they? For the World Cup.
Oh, to be honest with you, I don't really pay any attention to that. I'm more into my motorsport, folks. So.
All right. Well, we do have a little bit of a breather at the moment while they do a little bit of a warm up. So. Yes.
Yes. On that note.
Awkward moment.
Will be it always when there's like a silence and then someone goes to my ear goes
we need to talk to the boss man about getting like a SimGrid ad or something like that in between that we can insert. That'd be quite, it's in there, one of our sponsors.
I'm sure that David Perrell would not be adverse to that at all. Any of advertising is good advertising in his books.
You want to talk about SimGrid, I guess, really quickly? Well, we've got a few minutes.
Well, SimGrid is one of the many community platforms out there run by IRL Racer, who's also competed at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, will be competing at Le Mans this year. David Perrell from South Africa. Know the guy personally, met him quite a few times. Originally started in karting, then ended up going into IT. And then SimGrid also not just has the opportunity of providing a way in which people can sign on to leagues, register. SimGrid also do have also done broadcasting. I've worked with them on multiple broadcasts that they've done before, including the SimGrid VCO World Cup a couple of years ago.
Who haven't you worked for?
Oh God!
It's easier for you to name who you
but-
haven't worked for than it is to name who you have worked for.
That'll probably be as we could be here all night. We could be here all night on that one, and I don't have that time.
And of course, the people who sign up for the Discord channel, of course, you put that right there in that tsrc.club/Discord, and then you can chat to those drivers and say, how are you so fast, or what happened, or anything like that. How do I sign up to the league, of course, so I can be a part of this party.
Yeah, I've actually just been having a look in the F4 chat in the Discord server. Bobby Moss has just apologised to Kieran Sharp, saying, sorry for contact, and then Kieran's gone, huge F, racing incident though, after watching it back.
Yeah, it's also I do apologise because where iRacing changes the session, there's no way for me to actually go back. It creates a new session, and there's no way for me to go back and look at the replay. Because it would be good if we could, because at this point right now with that warm-up, we could go through and have a look at all those incidents, but
yeah,
just the way iRacing works, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. But yeah,
I think iRacing, allow us to the ability to
along on week 13, as well as bringing us rain. Can you do something about this, please?
Yes. That is what it is. It's just a small break.
Yeah,
more
and it
action.
just means that we can actually just calm ourselves down after.
Oh, it gives us time to calm down for the Bathurst 12-hour coming up a little later on as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, because this week is the official iRacing Bathurst 12 hours. I used to now for those if you say Bathurst, no, because I got corrected about that a few years ago. They went, no, it's Bathurst.
Yes. There's no barbs there, my friend. It's hot.
No, exactly. Exactly. So I always say to people, if you can't say it right, say Mount Panorama. That'll get you out of mischief. Yes. Big time.
The mountain.
Big time. Yep, the mountain, Mount Panorama.
And do it in an Australian accent. So if you want to say you want to say good eye. You want to say good day, mate. You say good eye, and then think M8 together, and you say that fast.
Yeah, good day, mate.
And then you got it. See?
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put another slab of kangaroo on the Barbie. So we do have our grid, of course, for our future race.
Yep. So here it is. It's race 2 of round 5 of the TSRC F4 sprint season here at VIR. So Bobby Moss will start from pole position. Josh Millington will be alongside with Andrew Pike and Matt Acton on row 2. With Davidson, Nuttall, Beervert, Hamling, Miller, Horsnell rounding out the top 10. And you've got Coleman Evans, Kieran Sharp, Cosford, Smith, Martin, Wu, Helmer, Kunsabo, Vit Voet, and Barnsey rounding out the 20-strong grid. The lights have already gone out and we are underway. Plume of wheel spin and smoke from some drivers' rear tyres as they make their way down into the horseshoe on the opening time of this 25-minute race. So 3 wide as Matt Acton went very, very wide through the horseshoe as Bobby Moss is trying to fend off Josh Millington, who tried to get the whole shot on the race start, but didn't quite work out for the 86. Nuttall is in 6th ahead of Beervert. Cosford and Horsnell rounding out the top 13. As, well, Vitvoet, no surprise there. He's already up to 14th. He's already up 5 places within half a lap. No surprise there from the Flying Dutchman.
Also, we'd have to talk to the race control. They launched that lights without even going off on our screen. So, but here we go.
Yeah.
Deja vu. When have you seen this before?
Oh, last 2 race nights, last 2 Fridays, but only it hasn't been Moss in front. It's been Vitvoet. So, and Vitvoet, we both know, has got pace for days. Gergely Kunsabo has gone off again, twice for the Hungarian in the early phases of the race, and everyone's just getting a little bit tetchy, some running wide coming out of turn number 12. There's Jamie Nuttall trying to go side by side with Matt Acton. Now this is down the back stretch heading into turns 13, 14 and 15 at the roller coaster section here at VIR. And you can see like the undulation. Like you said, Brands Hatch Grand Prix, not as technical in terms of corners and plenty of right-handers, but a lot of blind crests to deal with. As there's Matt Acton. Fabian Beervert went a bit ski mode like Knight Rider with 2 wheels into the air as they come around to complete the opening lap.
You and your
Bobby
kit
Moss.
references. Anyway.
Hey, well,
who's dropping some places here? Is that a slowdown?
Guillaume Hamling. Hamling's just got a slowdown.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Who's sending it up the inside here? Wow, that's a late break.
That was Miller, I think. Oh. Yeah, that was Miller, and he's just got passed through on Acton and Beervert.
Yes.
There's Kieran Sharp with a rear wing, thank goodness this time. But again, SimSport Hub saying, I'm looking for Luciano to lift the curse and earn his spot at Odin's table at Valhalla after this race, as round the outside. That's Kieran Sharp on Fabian Beervert. And Sharp's just got a tank slapper and he's got off the circuit.
Again, come back in. Here it is. The 23 machine does manage to regain a position here. He's not had a lot of luck at the moment, as here we go. It's Mansell versus, as we were saying that before.
Well, yeah, well, I think the thing is you could have Minardi in the background, so you probably have, it's either Webber or Alonso in the background. Then you got the Miles 7 alternative in the form of Tom Davidson, aka PogChamp. He's closing in on Andrew Pike for P3, and things have just gotten a bit more frantic. Matt Smith has unfortunately gone off the circuit in the meantime, but here is Tom Davidson looking towards the inside into South Bend as Millington's trying to do the same here on Bobby Moss. This is the run for the race lead. Moss still has the line at the minute, but still manages to keep a hold of that position. But Millington is trying to force the issue. Davidson's got through on Pike for 3rd place. And look at the run that Millington's just got. That's absolutely crucial, what he's just got out of turn number 12. Well, out of the final corner. Millington again on the run down to the horseshoe is looking to the outside line. And I think he's just got a slowdown. He has got a slowdown as Millington. And he's dropped outside of the top 4 as Miller's just put in the fastest lap of the race. And is right on the rear wing of the 86 of Josh Millington.
That's painful to get that slowdown. Well, that's track limits for you. They are there for a reason. Josh is now going to drop that P6. Look at that. It still is like, come on. I get some speed up. He's going to have Matt and Fabian as well too. But Bobby Moss still in the lead of this race. Has Tom gave him a bit of a chat. Well, we knew exactly he gave him a bit of a challenge there before. But Tom's going to now the next one up on the hit list to try to take number 5 is alive. Bobby Moss.
Yep. Is going to be Mr. Davidson. SimSport Hub saying every lap of mine is a slowdown compared to Luciano and Kieran. Oh dearie me, did you have to admit that in chat, SimSport Hub? As in to say they're passing me like I've got a slowdown where I'm actually driving and look like I'm standing still for a change. Lock up there. Now that was from Vic Voigt. I think I saw a lock up in the background as well from Kieran Sharp maybe. So it hasn't been easy for a few of these drivers.
Here comes Flying Dutchman. He's like, I'll give you a run for your money, Max.
Yeah, Max
job done. Gets the job done, look.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen, look out. Your contract's up for renewal soon. No, anything can happen in Formula 1 anyway.
SimSport Hub in the chat is just going absolutely spamming at the moment. Luciano once showed up 8 hours late to a 6-hour race and still won.
Well, here we go. Tom
brilliant.
challenging Bobby. Bobby's like, bring it on, all right? I've had just about everybody challenge me this evening. Tom sets the fastest lap. Bobby's loving this. He's loving the fights.
Oh, yeah. I think he knows that around this circuit, catching's one thing, but passing's completely another. But yeah, I mean, it's about how he just tees up the opportunity coming out of turn 12 at Oak Tree and then onto the backstretch heading into roller coaster at 13, 14 and 15. That's where you can really use the slipstream to your advantage, and also coming out of Hogpen at turn 16B and 17 down the start-finish straight on the run to the horseshoe. But as long as you keep that inside line, as Davidson's going to go for it. And oh my goodness me.
I have to look at this.
3's company, 4 is a gaggle at the moment, and that's being led by Nuttall. with Pike, Miller, and Millington rounding out the top 6. As Davidson went for a lunge up the inside of Moss, but it didn't quite work out. And you can see that Millington actually was the person that was tighter to the exit of the corner in comparison with everybody else. Acton closing in on being closed in on by Fabian Bierwirth for 7th place. So 6 minutes and 50 in out of 25. Moss still leads us on lap 4 as there is Bierwirth versus Acton. The 83 gets through on the 10.
Gets the job done there at centre style. So he moves his way up. Still that battle in the top 5 is brewing, and then you had that little bit of a gap to this man right now who's been unleashed. So the 83 can see the rest of that pack up the road probably very soon. Give him a little bit of motivation. It'll bring Matt and Luciana as well too into the mix. But here we go. Bobby still holding off on this one. He wants to see the checkered flag twice and get a back-to-back race wins.
Yeah, and he would be the 3rd person this season to do so. So Kieran Sharp did that at round 1 at Alton Park. For the last 2 rounds at Okayama and Summit Point, it's been Vit Voigt. So the only other 2 drivers that have won a race are Millington and Southfield, obviously. Fred Coleman Evans, not a good one for Fred there, I'm afraid. The 134 off the circuit, just on the inside grass on the horseshoe. But look at Davidson just swarming all over the back of Moss, now trying to get the side draft. Can he get the inside line? He's going to nose ahead ever so slightly. This is going to be very, very close indeed. Going down into South Bend, Davidson takes the lead. Incredible composure and so much pressure to make that move stick. But Jamie Nuttall, very late on the brakes. Andrew Pike nearly goes into the back wing of him. And there is Millington and Miller. Bierwirth is also, might only be 1.5 seconds behind, but look who's behind him. Flying Dutchman.
Yes.
Luciano Vit Voigt is now up 11 places, and there is still over 16 and a bit minutes of this race left to go.
You got to catch him. Exactly. I was saying Karen Sharp, but here we go. Bobby wants it back, my friend.
Oh, that's close. No! Touch between them. Touch between them. Pike's got the lead. That was never on. I think that gap was going to be closed very, very quickly. It was the fact that Davidson was up the inside of Moss. They both came together. I think Moss could have opened up the steering a little bit if he had the room on the circuit. And Jamie Nuttall has ended up in the pit lane. So this is the helicam shot. Lock up from Davidson. Bang, straight to the side of Moss. And then, Nuttall had nowhere to go. Sharp and Millington, Pike and Millington get through. This now promotes Luciano Vit Voigt, folks, to 5th, as there is Kieran Sharp up the inside of Bobby Moss. So looks like, dependent on what Millington and Vit Voigt do over the next just over 15 minutes, is going to be crucial. But Pike has got to start. He's going to be defending very, very quickly. As a lock up there from Cody Cosford in front of Bradley Horsnell. And they've got Luxembourg's Guillaume Hamling closing in on their 6th in the 351 entry. So battles up and down the order. Andrew Pike has got Josh Millington breathing up the rear exhaust pipes as we head through South Bend into Oak Tree. 10 minutes gone, 15 to go. Pike leads from Millington, Miller, Bierwirth, Vit Voigt, Acton, Sharp, Moss, Cosford and Horsnell round out the top 10. As David Barnes, I think poor old Davey boy's been involved in something else again. He's been in the pits for over a minute and, oh dearie me.
He's signing autographs.
SimSport Hub has brought the heat tonight. Kieran Sharp once won the Spa 24 Hours whilst he was driving at Monza.
Cheeky. That's okay.
Yes.
We like a bit of beef out there. And at the moment, it seems to be the beef is like, it's to be painted with a target on your back would be the driver in P1, isn't it? It seems to be the one that's under pressure a lot. It seems to be one that everybody catches quite easily, and then you have to do all that work defending. So Bobby did hold on last time, remember, after that, but we do know that Karen was in the lead. I mean, it seems to be that leader's spot is a little bit cursed at this point, so be cautious.
Yeah, Vit Voigt in the meantime trying to look for an opportunity through on Fabian Bierwirth as they go into NASCAR Bend. The Dutchman taking a time to line through out of turn 3 into turn 4A. Halsoy says Barnsley seems to have been cursed. Well, you could be right there, Halsoy. I'm not 100% sure, but Luciano Vitvoet closing in again, and this is going to be the run down towards South Bend at turn 10. But they've got this these blind crests and elevation changes.
No way.
Yeah, they've got these blind crests and elevation changes to deal with. SimSport Hub is making Luciano Vitvoet sound like the Chuck Norris of sim racing. Luciano only goes to bed so the rest of the drivers can outlap themselves. Ah, dearie me. I'm going to stop looking at the chat now when the SimSport Hub's name pops up. I'm sorry, SimSport Hub. There's only so much concentrating. Time out, time out.
You stand in the corner and you think about what you've just said. Right, here we go.
Yeah, you go and stand on the naughty step. There's the hat that you can wear with a big D on it. Okay, Millington trying to get through for the race lead. This could be very, very close indeed. That was the pinch point we saw between Davidson and Moss. Moss, who's all the way down in 15th. Davidson has been in the pits for 2 minutes, and Bobby Moss has come to pit lane. Probably has just decided, well, that car's not going to go anywhere. Billy Bob, BRM SimSport, Billy Bob number 55 saying Miller's getting hungry. You could be right, and there's Pike and Millington. This is through at the horseshoe, and Millington gets through for the race lead. Vitvoet now trying to do the same on Beervert, but they've got a left-hander coming up here at turns 2 and 3, and Vitvoet trying to keep it planted round the outside. And Beervert still
around the outside.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. Yeah, just like Eminem. Halsoy saying roller coaster sure has taken us on quite the ride today. True, that's what VIR should be re-nicknamed. The roller coaster of America.
Roller coaster. Yeah, we're going to be singing that song as well too.
Oh yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But
I'm not going to name the film that it was associated with as well.
Oh, really? Oh, well, it's probably a few there that you used it. But the
There
beauty
is
of
one.
it is that we don't really get too much of a chance to go to replays, and that indicates to me that you're having a roller coaster of a ride for sure, of a race, because when you don't, I mean, if we go into replays all the time just to capture actions, because, you know, the rest of the racing is not that exciting, but it is right now in the top of the timesheets with the top 5.
Yeah, exactly. And Pike looking for the possible opportunity through at turn 13. He's going to get the inside line, and he's possibly going to retake the position, but a lock up there from Millington sends it back up the inside through out of turn 14 and 15. Pike retakes the lead. Miller waiting in the wings. Beervert and Vitvoet are now with them. Top 5 covered by 3/4 of a second as we come out of the final corner at Hogpen. And there is Millington getting the draft, getting the toe from Andrew Pike as they head down into the horseshoe at T1. Vitvoet trying to look for the inside line, possibly on Beervert. He's gone round the outside of Miller. Miller still keeps it pinned. Pike up the inside of Millington, retakes the lead. Vitvoet might get Beervert at this point. Alex Richards says...
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no. Millington and Pike come together, and it's caused absolute madness behind because Miller has gone around, Beervert has gone around, and no surprise, Luciano Vitvoet from 19th has weathered the storm, and with 10 minutes to go, is on course for a potential 5th win of the season.
Well, I'll tell you one, yeah, you're exactly right, but tell you what, Karen Sharp, after having that moment earlier, as well as in the first race, he's now thinking, I may have enough time to catch the Flying Dutchman here. So it is possible, and the boss man, we're going to lead by example as the boss man. He ain't going to give up. He's going to try his absolute best. Got Matt up the road there, but I don't know. The Flying Dutchman's looking like he's absolutely flying his way into victory here.
Yeah, he's currently 1.9 seconds up the road from Matt Acton, who is on course for potentially his best result of the season. Might even be securing his first ever podium. Fabian Beervert, well, that car's got less than 4 wheels on its wagon. As Kieran Sharp ducks to the left-hand side of Matt Acton, will get the side draft into turn 13. Will he get ahead? Comfortably.
I can't see what on the side. It said something about please be careful, I'm a student driver or something. I don't know what Matt That's so
yeah, student driver learning in progress or something like that.
Go.
I was trying to keep an eye on that previous rounds, and because there's been so much going on, here's Thomas Martin looking to get up the inside of Johnny Woo in the HKS Special. Oh, Woo has a lock up, but still keeps ahead. Thomas Martin does exactly the same thing. He's gone with a combo vibe there, Senna and Alonso.
Oh, there you go. I'll tell you what, that's two race drivers you wouldn't mind having in a team. I guarantee you that. If you actually, that's one for the chat, real quick. If you had to pick 2 race drivers of all time in Formula One, right? All time Formula One, so you're a team boss. You got this fantastic new team. Don't worry about the team name, all right? But you had to pick 2 drivers of all time as your fantasy, drivers. Who would they be? And I'll let everybody out there pick that one. And I'm going to ask you as well too, of course, Alex.
Okay.
I know you have a couple.
I definitely would have 2 drivers that would be, if it ever did come to pass, would be Ayrton Senna and Lewis Hamilton as teammates.
Oh yeah, it'd be absolutely fantastic. By the way, there's no right or wrong answer on that one because it's never going to happen in real life.
It's personal preference.
Yeah, it is personal preference. What about Fangio, sorry.
Yeah, Fangio and Moss. Possibly.
And, well, yes, if it's just... huge accident! And was that...
Well, that was Gergely Consabo that was just behind Thomas Helmer that we've just seen, who had that massive moment. Running in the... okay, so this is Gergely Consabo. That's going to be with...
Bang.
Oh, dearie me! Oh! Big old spinneroo. And he manages to gather it back up!
Yeah,
oh!
they get collected
And
there.
then, he got collected by Millington.
Karen Sharp can't clear Matt here at this point. Matt, he can't. So I think he might have to, well, not really yield it because there's some of the pace there. Last lap 148.2, 147, 148.1 for our Flying Dutchman. So yeah, Flying Dutchman is flying his way up the road there. It's more about Karen Sharp holding P2 now, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at Greg Brooks's. That's an incendiary. That was an incendiary accident waiting to happen. Senna and Prost. Because it actually did happen. Oh, right. Someone else has gone off the circuit, and that was Guillaume Hamling. Well, Guillaume Hamling's gone off. Bobby Moss has gone off as well.
Yeah.
So this is Guillaume Hamling.
It's locked up for sure, right? Going too deep into this, and the rear end will spin. We're going to chop those trees down.
Yeah. He just put the power down too hard.
We don't need trees iRacing. Okay, it's a virtual world. We can chop them down. And this is earlier with Bobby.
Yeah, so this will be out of the left hook, and he's just gone on the loud pedal a little bit too early. I think just carried too much speed. But yeah, in the meantime, Matt Acton keeping the boss man Kieran Sharp very, very honest indeed. Greg Brooks has now also put Senna and Akin. That would be an interesting combo.
Senna and Prost, of
flying
course.
Finn.
A few people, if you just tuned in, of course, give us your two. If you're a team boss, you had to pick 2 drivers that you want to have from all time in your car. Who would they be? I'm still thinking about mine, actually. I really am.
Yeah.
Wild thing. Here we go. Here's the wild thing. You make my heart sing. Oh, you locked up.
Locks up into Oak Tree. Hashtag bring back Oak Tree from Halsoy. This would be a good one. Senna and Barrichello. That'd be a good one.
Barrichello? Senna? Oh, that's a Brazilian duo, but yeah, Barrichello never won a championship. He got close. Never won a championship.
Yeah.
Nobody's picked Schumacher? Really?
Oh, dearie me. Come on, bring it in on the chat.
Michael Schumacher? The 7 times world champion?
I'd have liked to have seen... Well, we did actually see
Schumacher and Hamilton as a pairing. Jeez.
Oh, that would be a good one. Total of over 190 race wins between them. 14 world titles. Yeah.
I mean, who would... That'd be an interesting one. I mean, they have raced together, obviously, on track before, but under completely different circumstances with cars. But imagine those two as teammates, because they're both as feisty. They'd fight each other. I don't know. Do you think that Schumacher, because he used to do those tricks, right, of locking his teammates into bathrooms and play all those psychological games, do you reckon that Hamilton... I think Hamilton's too headstrong to allow that to happen. I don't know.
Hamilton would not allow... That would never... Yeah, Hamilton would never allow that to happen. I think playing pranks on people I think you'd have to have Nelson PK.
Oh yeah, he
senior.
was the one that he's the
Nelson PK Senior and Gerhard Berger.
Oh yes.
But two practical jokers.
Wasn't PK he was one of the drivers' favourites? Like, I mean, he was like he's in Brazil. I mean, everybody in Brazil has told me that you really do listen to him, of course, because he's going to speak Portuguese. He was always like a comedian, an entertainer. Like a Daniel Ricciardo kind of thing of these days. Really,
well, exactly. Gerhard Berger was the Daniel Ricciardo of his day, because he actually there is a story about Senna having his passport photo changed to a part of a woman's anatomy.
Really?
Yes. And I will tell you what it is after we go off air, Biggles. But
I think we can guess that one.
Yeah, well, it's actually been talked about in interviews.
You can Google that on our air if you want.
All I'm going to say, it was when Senna and Berger were teammates at McLaren. That's all I'm saying, and Ron Dennis knows what happened. Could also go for Raikkonen and early Tsunoda to make sure absolutely zero communication is possible.
Yes,
that's a good one. That was close. Cody Cosford. Oh, Guillaume Hamling slides off the circuit at the horseshoe.
You know what I want for what about the opposite? What if you want dive bomb drivers? Like I remember Nakajima, like drivers that would crash all the time.
No, Taki Inui for dive bombs. Who's a legend on Twitter.
Who would be two drivers that you'd guarantee in a season that would probably only finish 1 or 2 races by the end of the season? Like
Luca Badoer and Taki Inui.
There you go. That's an interesting one. I mean, anybody asks, do they? Like two drivers that you would pick if you have a unlimited bank balance for your team to have to fix the cars every race. Yeah.
Well, we've still got just under 2 minutes of this race to go. Josh Millington. 4 seconds behind this battle, and this could be the best finish of the season for Cody Cosford in the number 54, battling away with Guillaume Hamling. Second and third still battling away. Matt Acton keeping Kieran Sharp, the boss man at TSRC, very, very honest, because Luciano Voit at the minute will cross the line very, very shortly and take us on to the final lap of what has been an enthralling and interesting round 5 here on the TSRC F4 Sprint season, as Guillaume Hamling and Cody Cosford through the roller coaster side by side. Cosford locks up, drifts wide. Oh, tanks up in there from Hamling. And Alex Richards says Montoya and Kimi, why not? Well,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, weren't they actually teammates? I think.
No. Montoya was in the Williams, remember, and Kimi was in the McLaren.
But this is a great battle here for 6th position. Guillaume Hamling strides slightly forward, head of Cody Cosford, who will take the tighter inside line here for the horseshoe, as we are on the 14th and final lap. Luciano Voit leads Kieran Sharp by over 2.5 seconds. That's Millington in the background who's just lost it. Millington is...
He should have enough time. He should have enough time, because there's Johnny coming a little bit further down the back, but that's because of that battle that's occurring right here with the wild thing. Yeah. So the timer is counting down here at the Sim Racing Collective F4 Sprint season penultimate round of its inaugural season, actually. There is still plenty of other action to be had on the JP Broadcasting Network, which will take you through towards the end of the show here on Friday night. But Luciano Voit down the back stretch for the final time from what was a disappointing Mazepin
and Inui. If you want 0 complete races and max money spent, yep, that will be the budget cap busted then. Andrew Pike trying to go side by side with Thomas Martin in the number 13, but Voit comes out of the final corner and will take his 5th win of the season. Disaster for the Flying Dutchman in race 1. Race 2, a completely different story. Weather the storm here at VIR, and the number 60 takes his 5th win, the most of anybody this season, ahead of Kieran Sharp, who keeps himself in title contention, and Matt Acton with his first trip to the rostrum in the number 10. Hayden Miller, another great showing from the young 14-year-old in 4th place, ahead of Bradley Horsnell. Guillaume Hamling is going to be ahead of Cody Cosford, and it is going to be by just under 0.8 of a second. Those two finished 6th and 7th respectively. Bobby Moss finishes all the way down in 15th. We lost Fabian Beerver with 4 laps to go. Tom Davidson with again with 3 laps to a further lap behind. David Barnes, Jamie Nuttall, Fred Coleman, Evans not making it. So we did have 15 finishes at the end of that race, with Gergely Kunsabo behind Josh Millington, Johnny Wu rounding out the top 10. Thomas Helmer in 11th. Andrew Pike was on course for the win, but then after drama between him and Millington cost him that. Ends up 12th ahead of Thomas Martin. And last but by certainly no means least, we're just waiting for Matt Smith to make his way across the line here at VIR.
Most underrated underrated drivers, a tough question as well too. Fisichella and stuff like that, of course, were very, very quick. I think he was the one that actually outperformed Schumacher and stuff like that too. But yeah, that's another question and another time. I would say tune in for the next race and we'll continue.
Yeah, we'll talk about underrated drivers for the season finale. But yeah, Matt Smith rounds out the finishing order in 14th place, but well, 2 different winners from 2 different races. It was Bobby Moss in race 1, Luciano Vitvoet in race 2, and he's 1 step away from getting that inaugural F4 sprint crown here on TSRC. Kieran Sharp takes 2nd ahead of Matt Acton, and a 4th and a 3rd for the number 10. Well done, Matt, tonight. Great job, buddy. Hayden Miller in 4th, and then Bradley Horsnell in the number 58 rounds out the top 5, with Hamling, Cosford, Millington, Kunsabo, and Wu rounding out the top 10, with Helmer, Pike, Martin, Smith, and Moss rounding out the finishing order. And then we have Fabian Beerver, Tom Davidson, David Barnes, Jamie Nuttall, and Fred Coleman Evans rounding out the non-finishers. But with that in mind, we've got some interviews.
Yeah, and another one, and think of some questions for next week as well too for our finale. I would also like team bosses of all time. Which 2 would you like pairing as they were race drivers? But that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's bring in a person that we've been keeping an eye on. He's got 5 race wins now in this season. Let's bring in our race 2 winner. If I can I'm going to try and pull him in the chat now. Let's bring him in. Well, Luciano Vitvoet, from disaster in race 1 to picking up your 5th win of the season in race 2. Well done.
Thank you.
Mate, I have to. I've been waiting for the opportunity to speak to you anyway, because I've commentated on you, I think, quite a few times. I think if I remember, the first time was probably Sim Racing Expo 2022 at Nürnberg, I think, if I remember correctly, when you were doing the
race room.
Race room, yeah, when we had the Porsches and the Mustangs at Norris Ring.
Oh yeah.
Those were some interesting times. But 5 wins now. You must be feeling pretty good. But a bit of an unfortunate incident when Bobby Moss went up the inside of Kieran, who then ended up clattering into the right front of you and put you out of the race. Still to have 5 wins on the bounce going to the final round at Road Atlanta next week. You must be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, honestly, I did not expect race 2 to go the way it did. I started P19 and I was like, okay, top 5 is doable because of the slipstream or whatever. And then everyone started cashing and everything just started coming together basically. And I knew Josh was in P2 and he's the main championship contender. So when he spun, I'm like, okay, we're right back in it. Race 1 is just forgotten. Let's just focus on the next one now. And yeah, I mean, in race 1, I just went for the move 3 wide. It wasn't that smart, but I know. I mean, I wanted to send it to drive away, and a little late on the brakes, and then the thing with Kieran happened, and that put me out of the race. It happens.
Yeah, but you came back fighting. Of course, we go to Road Atlanta next week. In its own right, a big challenge, a lot of descents, a lot of elevation changes, a lot of blind crests. It's going to be a big challenge for everyone, even you.
Yeah. So Road Atlanta will be something else. I think the main thing in these cars is the slipstream. Like on Lime Rock, there was only a small part of slipstream involved, so you could drive away more easily. But like today on Virginia, it's insane what the slipstream does.
Well, Luciano, thanks for dropping by. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your weekend?
Oh yeah, shout out to John, my manager. He was in the comments saying don't give up, race 2 will be better, and it did. And of course, shout out to Cody Cosford, my teammate, for setting up the stream and driving with me today.
Brilliant. Luciano, congrats on your 5th win of the season. We'll see you for the season finale in a week's time, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Thank you guys. You too.
So great to hear from Luciano Vitvoet there. Let's bring in our race 1 winner. Let's bring in Bobby Moss. Bobby Moss, good evening.
What's happening, fellas?
So you've switched back to good old Williams Renault livery after a Scarlet transition last week, but you finally become the latest person to put their name as a race winner in this F4 sprint season. Must have been a pretty good feeling despite all the dramas that happened.
Yeah, buzzing. I had to channel my inner Mansell. That's why I got the livery.
Good man, good man. But I mean, let's just talk about that that moment in race 1 where you went for the move up the inside at T1 at the Horseshoe, which did you just carry a bit too much speed? Because we did see a little bit of a lock up from the left front on the car, didn't we?
Yeah, I got a little bit loose. Unfortunately, hit Sharpie there. So
yeah, I mean the thing is, at the end of the day, it is a racing incident, but the caliber of driving that we've seen evolve out of this TSRC F4 sprint season, and you've been at the sharp end of things for quite a few of the last couple of rounds, including tonight. It really just showed that this series does have a bright future, doesn't it?
oh, yeah, big time. The racing's all been brilliant. I missed the first week. I think quite fortunately after watching it back, but ever since then the racing's been brilliant.
So Road Atlanta, final race night in a week's time. How are you feeling about that one, mate?
I don't have a prayer, but I've got my win now, so I don't mind.
spoken like a race winner, and I love the fact that we've got actually on the replay showing to you folks at home. Bobby Moss has gone full Il Leone Williams styling.
He has.
The race helmet, the race suit, mate. I mean, this is what we should do, that every single competitor of TSRC F4 Sprint from next season onwards must run an F1 livery of some kind, because it just looks awesome on these F4 cars.
It does, and
I let you all,
Bobby,
I let you all down. I forgot to change the number to red, so apologies.
Oh, you
can do that. Do that for next week. Do that for next week.
And Bobby, if you really are wanting to tribute, of course, to Mr. Nigel Mansell, I hope you have sporting a big mustache, right?
Oh, mate. My attempt at a mustache, you would never want to see it. Go to prison.
By the way, we were asking this. Well, I'm going to ask this question, actually. We give you a little second to think about it. But we were actually asking if you had to pick 2 Formula 1 drivers throughout all of history, you were a team boss and you had to pick 2 drivers you want racing for you, which 2 drivers would you want your team? I think one of them would be Mansell, right? I don't know.
Yeah, got to be Mansell. Probably the Super Seb, I think. Seb Vettel.
Seb and Mansell. All right, that's an interesting pairing. So there you go. I like that.
I like that guy.
Right.
Guys, I love listening to your commentary every week. I always listen to it after watch the race. I always watch the stream back. So thanks so much.
Brilliant. Bobby, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go to enjoy your weekend, buddy?
Oh, yeah, the missus watches it with me. So, hello, Mike.
Brilliant. Bobby Moss,
thanks a lot, guys.
Race 1 winner, well done. We'll see you next week for the finale, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Right, okay, we've got time for a couple more interviews before we curtail things here on the TSRC F4 Sprint penultimate round here at VIR. Let's bring in Hayden Miller. Hayden Miller, well, that's a turn up for the books.
Hello.
You've had a pretty good night tonight, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been decent.
Thanks very much for showing me the onboard last week.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy going over there in first person. Can't see anything.
I know we were seeing that quite a lot, the amount of people that were going all 4 wheels into the air, a bit like Smokey and the Bandit, and then ending up drifting the car in the air whilst it was happening. But 4th place in that race, P9 in race 1. This is your second race night with us. The caliber of the driving has just been absolutely immense, and the battling has just been absolutely tooth and nail, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been fun. Obviously, race 1, again, no practice, so didn't even know some of my braking points, so some of them was just pulling away from me. But I knew after race 1, I had to keep in the tow to stay with them, because I noticed that in race 1 they were just pulling away from us. So I obviously knew I wasn't going to go anywhere with reverse grid, but yeah, just tried my hardest. Bit of sketchy moments, but just tried my hardest to keep in the tow, and it eventually worked out.
Okay, so we need to ask you this question. If you were to choose, as a team boss, 2 drivers to pair up as your driver pairing for Formula 1, who would you go for?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Of all time as well. Doesn't have to be modern F1 drivers.
Well, I'd probably have to go with someone like classic, probably like Sterling Moss or Sterling Moss would probably, you got to go with Senna or Prost, they're the fast ones.
Okay,
Bringing back the classics.
That's a pretty good shout out there. Sterling Moss, the man who was second in the FIA Formula 1 World Championship 4 times, but one in sports cars, one at the Mille Miglia. Hayden, well done tonight, mate. Really, really pleased to see how you've come along since last time out. But anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and enjoy your weekend?
Kind of to the people I was just racing in the race. It was all clean, good fun. Obviously, a couple heated moments when the 2 leaders took each other out, and I got collected. But yeah, overall just good racing with everyone in the lobby.
Brilliant. Hayden, thanks so much for jumping in for an interview, mate. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you at the season finale at Road Atlanta next Friday night.
Good luck. See you.
Cheers. Right, okay. Last but by no means least, let's bring in this man. I'm so happy, Cody Cosford. You've got a top 10, buddy. Well done. Great battle between you and Guillaume Hamling. You nearly had it. You nearly had it, dude.
Yeah, I think on the second lap, I had a small incident. And after that, I had nothing on the straights, even when I was in the slipstream. So I just struggled on the straights and nearly kept him behind and just didn't have enough in the end.
But still, I mean, 13th in race 1, 7th, could have been 6th. You've got to be happy with the fact that your luck has changed significantly, but also the fact that you've improved like everybody else. There was a lot of great battling between you and Guillaume, and it was just so nice to see you both going side by side down the back straight into roller coaster at 13, 14, and 15. You were both giving each other no quarter at all. That's what you want in a league like this, where everyone, might be different skill sets, like, say, Luciano Vitvoet, who's won 5 races. But to see people like you just move on up and just do really, really well and enjoy the challenge of racing against other competitors, that's what we love in sim racing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I was quite happy with race 1 because I actually crashed out and had to pit. So still happy with that one. And then, like you say, race 2, there was some really nice battling and stuff. So yeah, it was really nice to see.
Well, anyone you want to give it? Oh, actually, before we ask you to give your shout outs, if you were to choose a driver pairing in Formula 1 as a team boss, who would you go for?
Max and Alonso.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Alonso's always been my favourite, and I think Max is very fast. So I think Max and Alonso would be my pair.
That's a pretty good shout out. Pretty good
You
shout
wanna,
out.
you wanna, what about throwing up, as a talk about throwing up an old Formula 1 livery on your car for perhaps the next season and stuff like that, if you're going to be a part of it? You'd have to go for like one of those Alonso liveries, wouldn't you? Or something like that, if it's your favourite?
Yeah, Alonso had a lot of liveries. I think the Renault ones, the year you won, probably something like that. We need.
Yeah, I know someone's already running that livery.
Yeah, somebody is. The Renault livery.
Yeah. Make sure it's with the Mild 7 livery.
You could do it. You could go to his McLaren livery. You can go plenty of these. You said he's been involved.
Yeah, you could go.
That's true.
Yeah.
Spygate era. One season only. But Cody, no, well done tonight, mate. Great to see you improving week on week. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and enjoy your weekend?
Luciano. Last the first in race 2, I thought was quite good. So shout out to him.
Brilliant. Cody, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for chatting with us. And we'll see you next week for the season finale at Road Atlanta, buddy. Well done tonight.
See it.
Well, I'm going to throw another pairing out there. How about Alberto Ascari and Jim Clark?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Jim Clark hasn't been mentioned yet, so there are
No,
quite a few,
definitely not.
quite a few different ones.
Yeah, it's because it's also a different racing era as well, too, isn't it? Because, like, they were bold and brave back then, the dangerous times, of course, of motor racing. So it was... And of course, they didn't. I mean, it's always different. To judge that because they didn't have all the fancy gizmos that modern F1 drivers have and stuff. So they really had to work for it. But then you can't say, well, what if we threw Max Verstappen back in one of those cars back in the day? Would he be as good? No, he wouldn't because he's not prepared for it, not trained for it, and all that sort of stuff. But throwing one of those old drivers into a modern F1 car, they wouldn't be able to handle it either. So, but it's just hypothetical and about speed and pace for the time that they had and the competition they had.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, Biggles, got one more round to go. It's flown by, hasn't it?
Certainly has, my friend. And that's how I could see it. Well, if races go like this, where they're so quick and fast and so much drama and action, then yeah, of course they will always go. It's not a boring like a regular Formula One fest sometimes, isn't it? When you have a bit of a snore lay down about halfway through the race. You're like, okay, pit stops, well, I'm awake. And then, of course, at the end, it gets exciting. But, yeah, no, it's always exciting here at the Sim Racing Collective.
Yeah, well, that's it for our live coverage here of the TSRC F4 Sprint season, the inaugural season here at Round 5, races 1 and 2, completed here at Virginia International Raceway here at VIR, but we head to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the season finale. Luciano Voet has 5 wins. Can anyone beat the Flying Dutchman on track? We'll find out in a week's time. But coming up, well, if you are still watching on the JP Broadcasting Network, live underway at the moment is Season 3, Round 8 of the JPB TCR Euro Sprint Cup, live from Monza without the Rettifilio chicane. Then tomorrow from 7 p.m, we've got the Virtual World Sports Car Championship 2024. It's the 100 minutes of Qatar. Then we've also got the OGRL Coffee Cup Season 1 Round 2 at the Red Bull Ring on Sunday at 1:45 p.m. and IGP Fun Formula 3 Round 9 Alton Park without the chicane. And you know what? I'm going to stop right now because I've got a lump in my throat. Good night.